Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. It is a do-or-die clash for Delhi Capitals as they take on Rajasthan Royals at the D.Y. Patil Stadium tonight. And the news from the D.Y. Patil Stadium is that Delhi Capitals have won the toss and they have opted to field first. That's right. Rishabh Pant at the toss saying that Dew might play a role later on. And so they've decided to field first. Now, also for Delhi Capitals, some changes for them, and we'll take you through those changes in just a bit. There's also a change for Rajasthan Royals. We know Shimron Hetmyer, he is out. He's a new father, so he's gone to see his little baby. And in place of Shimron Hetmyer, they've gotten Rassie van der Dusen. That's one change to their playing 11. For the Delhi Capitals, Lalit Yadav, he has come back in place of Ripple Patel. And Khalil Ahmed, surprisingly, Khalil Ahmed sits out. I hope he's not injured, but he sits out. And Chetan Sakaria is in. So those are the changes. That's the latest from the D.Y. Patil Stadium. Nikhil, how do you look at this? Another blow, given that Prithvi Shaw was already not playing this match. Now, for Khalil Ahmed to sit out as well. Though Chetan Sakaria, he played one match before this and was impressive.
Right, but it's a big blow, Meha, for Delhi Capitals. You know, Khalil Ahmed has been their standout fast bowler. 16 wickets in the tournament, excellent in the middle overs, decent job in the death. Big blow for them, along with Prithvi Shaw. Two of them main players not playing in such a big match for them, almost a must-win. Major setback for Delhi Capitals.
Also with Delhi, we've seen this happen, first the COVID problem, then David Warner wasn't available for some matches, Mitchell Marsh wasn't available, Anrik Nortje was injured. They've come back now, but then now you have Prithvi Shaw who's sitting out. So they've always had this problem as well, and the insecurity of COVID as well, with that hitting the camp earlier on. But now, this means that they need to win every match from here on. Let's take a look at Delhi Capitals playing 11 first before we go any further. Like we said, two changes for them. Lalit Yadav, he has come in place of Ripple Patel, and Chetan Sakaria in place of Khalil Ahmed. But how important is it now, because they're dependent on David Warner, and with Prithvi Shaw being out, how important is it for someone like Mitchell Marsh to start scoring runs for them?
Absolutely. Mitchell Marsh, excellent World T20, but hasn't done much in this tournament. He has to step up he has to perform in this match. Rishabh Pant has to, play a longish innings. 30-40 cameos won't do. Again, a lot of pressure on David Warner now to not only provide the start but convert it into a big one. There is no Prithvi Shaw. The lower order looks a tad weak. Rovman Powell will be the key player there. Apart from that, Akshar Patel, high time that Akshar Patel and Shardul Thakur not only perform with the ball but also chip in with the bat. They've played, Akshar has played a couple of decent innings, but both of them need to contribute with the bat. Yeah. So all in all, DC looking a tad weak with no Prithvi Shaw and no Khalil Ahmed, but they still have some big players, to pull through and beat RR in this match.
That's right. They do have some big players, but they are still dependent on David Warner. If David Warner is not able to get off to a big start, things will get difficult for Delhi Capitals. Let's also take a look at the playing 11 for Rajasthan Royals now. Again, just one forced change for them. Shimron Hetmyer, who's been such a brilliant finisher for them, he is not playing this game. Rassie van der Dusen has come in, and that's a good choice really for them. They had a choice between Jimmy Neesham and Rassie van der Dusen, a good choice for them. But how good has Jos Buttler been? And the reason why Rajasthan Royals are where they are at the moment, a huge percentage of that is, of course, because of this unstoppable game from Jos Buttler throughout.
Absolutely. Jos Buttler, he's been so good at the top of the order that he, the middle order of RR has really not been tested, the lower middle order especially, because Jos Buttler has scored most of their runs. Yeah. But Jos Buttler cannot score in every match. Jaiswal did well in the last match. It's high time Sanju Samson scored a 70-80. Parag needs a decent score. Van der Dusen is a good choice for Shimron Hetmyer, but he will be missed. Shimron Hetmyer was consistently producing, finishes at the death, and he will be sorely missed by them because he was a genuine match winner. 4 matches he genuinely won with the bat. So he will be missed. But Van Ederson is a very exciting player from South Africa. He's done it in international cricket, a lot of experience in T20 cricket. So he's a good choice, but still they will miss Shimron Hetmyer.
They will miss Shimron Hetmyer, but let's take a look at now their head-to-head record. Historically, who has done better in this rivalry and between Rajasthan Royals and Delhi Capitals? 25 matches played between them. 13 have been won by Rajasthan Royals and 12 by Delhi Capitals. Not much of a difference there. Pretty even record, but it is since 2019 where Delhi Capitals have had the upper hand, Nikhil.
Absolutely. 2019 6-3 to Delhi Capitals shows that Delhi Capital transformed as a unit during that phase under Ricky Ponting, Shreyas Iyer. After finishing in the 6, 7, 8, 9 in the previous 6 seasons from 2019 onwards, they made the playoffs, then made the final, again made the playoffs. So that head-to-head shows what a transformed side Delhi Capitals has been since 2019.
Okay, now let's talk about Delhi Capitals' problems. What seems to have gone wrong? Because what we've seen from Delhi Capitals, other than the setbacks off the field, on the field as well, sometimes things have worked and sometimes they haven't. They haven't been consistent, and you can see that with this trend in Delhi Capitals side throughout this tournament. They haven't won 2 consecutive games in IPL 2022. Then there is Prithvi Shaw. His absence, how much of an impact will that have? Because Prithvi Shaw striking at 160, second highest runs in power play since 2020. I mean, those are phenomenal numbers for Shaw, and Delhi will miss him. So that's a huge blow. We've already said that, Nikhil. But it's also Delhi Capitals pacers who haven't been able to get as many wickets in the power plays.
Yeah, this has been a big problem for them. Only 10 wickets in the power play. That is a big problem. Delhi's pacers, they've missed Anrik Nokia. They've missed a bowler of the caliber of Anrik Nokia, who was absolutely brilliant in the UAE leg last season. Also, they let go of Rabada. So who's going to pick wickets in the power play? And that has been the biggest problem. If you don't pick wickets in the power play, teams can always catch up later on. So it's a big problem for Delhi in this tournament. Khalil Ahmed did well, but he's also not playing this match.
Yeah.
So, that's a bit of a concern for Delhi. Delhi Pacers 10 wickets in the power play in 53 overs, the worst in the tournament in terms of wicket taking.
That's right. Now, what about Rajasthan Royals? We've already touched upon Shimron Hetmyer's absence and how much of an impact will that have. Take a look at it in terms of numbers. And RR also have problems of their own, which is in death bowling. But look at that, Shimron Hetmyer, 291 runs, strike rate of 166, and it only gets better towards the death. So you are looking at one of the best finishers in this tournament.
One of the best finishers in the tournament, whose services will not be available today. 210 runs and 98 balls. That's a big sample size. Strike rate of 214. Hetmyer, 4 brilliant performances with the bat. So he's not there. Plus they have, if DC have problems in the power play with the ball, they have problems in the death overs. They can't restrict the opposition in the death overs. 12 runs per over almost economy rate, second worst in the tournament. Also not picking many wickets in the death, again second lowest 18. Trent Boult has gone at an economy rate of more than 14 in the death overs, which is a massive problem for the Royals.
That is right. That has been the problem for them. And now they need to, especially as we get to the business end of the tournament, they need to make sure that they start bowling well. Okay, now let's also talk a little bit about how this is a clash of world-class spin units. I mean, you are looking at 2 players, 2 spinners, one in Yuzvendra Chahal, the other in Kuldeep Yadav, who are at the top of the list in the purple cap race. Yuzvendra Chahal being right at the top of it, 22 wickets at a strike rate of 12, economy of 7.25. Every match that he's playing, Nikhil, he's making an impact.
Absolutely. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's continued from where he left in the UAE edition, where he was the highest wicket taker. He's back for India also. Chahal has been a great, bowler for RCB over the years. Even when RCB did not qualify for the playoffs, Chahal picked 20-25 wickets every season at an economy rate of 6 to 7. So he's been absolutely brilliant. Yes, he was out of the Indian team for a while. When he lost his form in the India leg last season in the IPL, that was a tough time for him. But he's back now. He's the highest wicket taker of the tournament and bowling absolutely brilliantly. Along with him, we'll see in this match the famous pairing of Kulcha. So Kuldeep Yadav, again brilliant, bowling 5 kilometers faster, picking lots of wickets, not conceding runs. Ashwin hasn't taken that many wickets, Meha, but look at that economy rate in the power play. That stands out. 5.8 in the power play for an off-spinner is absolutely sensational. And his matchup today with Warner, which we'll discuss later, is going to be one of the key battles. Kuldeep Yadav, just discussed, 18 wickets, strike rate of 13.2. You know, thrown out, humiliated by KKR, and what a transformation. That's a story in itself. Akshar Patel, unsung hero for DC last season, this year very disappointing. He would look to make up in the rest of the tournament. He needs to step up with the ball and the bat.
That's right. With the bat, we saw him in the first game that they played, where he scored some runs to win that game along with Lalit Yadav. But yes, Akshar Patel and Shardul Thakur, especially in the absence of Prithvi Shaw right now, I think they'll need to score runs as well. Now, for all of you who've just joined us, the news from the D.Y. Patil Stadium is that Delhi Capitals, they have won the toss and they have opted to field first. Again, this decision, I don't know how much. I mean, we've seen now the trend being again, you know, with teams wanting to win the toss and then going to bowl first. Nikhil, they always want to factor in the due factor, but it hasn't made a huge difference, because if you look at the number of matches that have been won batting first or chasing, have been almost equal.
Correct. And the last 8 matches, the team batting first has won 7. So the trend has completely changed. Therefore, I'm surprised that Rishabh Pant is elected to field. It's a bit strange because the trend has completely reversed. The wicket is slowing down. It's not easy to chase. Not only are teams batting first winning, they're winning by big margins. Yeah. So it may not be a great call by Rishabh Pant at the toss. So I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, so am I. Now, like we said, some changes for Delhi Capitals. Lalit Yadav has come in place of Ripple Patel and Chetan Sakaria in place of Khalil Ahmed. That's the 2 changes for them. But how good has Kuldeep Yadav been? I mean, every time I look at this DC side, it's just been the match winner for them, really, with the ball. And then, of course, there's David Warner right there on top. Again, hasn't played as many matches as Jos Buttler, but has already shown the impact of his presence since the time he's come into the side. So that is Delhi Capitals playing 11. Let's also take a look at Rajasthan Royals playing 11. Just one change there, Rassie van der Dusen in place of Shimron Hetmyer. How much of an impact will that be? That's also a big question, because we've seen what Shimron Hetmyer has done when Rajasthan Royals have won.
Absolutely. That's a big blow. Rassie van der Dusen is a very fine batsman, but Shimron Hetmyer in form has done it in the tournament in pressure situations. Also not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 to 5 times, including the last match. So it's a big blow. But I still think they have a very strong team, which gives them an edge over the Capitals in this match. They have more things working for them than the Capitals.
Okay, we'll have to wait and watch out for that one as to who wins this game. But let's also now talk a little bit about the matchups, key batters. What are we looking forward to? Some of those key batters. Number 1 has to be David Warner versus Ravichandran Ashwin. And again, this may define the contest, Nikhil, because look at that. 16 innings and 5 times Warner's been dismissed, strike rate of 125. Both, would want to get a one-up on this one.
Absolutely. For me, the battle of the match in the power play, Warner has been brilliant against pace. This is a very classical sort of approach a lot of captains employ against left-handed batsmen. Off-spinner taking the ball away from the left-hander, and Ashwin has had success. Ashwin, in fact, has a great record against left-handers across formats of the game, not surprisingly. So this will be done. I mean, Rishabh Pant, Ashwin will be employed by Sanju Samson against Warner, and it could just be the trick for Rajasthan Royals, because if they get David Warner in the power play without Prithvi Shaw, I think DC will struggle.
Okay, then in the middle over, Sanju Samson versus Kuldeep Yadav. Again, with Sanju Samson, we get to see a really big score from him. But Kuldeep Yadav, he's been in phenomenal form. We know he's been taking the wickets. of the opposition batsmen. 5 innings, 126 strike rate, hasn't been dismissed so far. How do you see this playing out?
I mean, so far it has been, I think he's been circumspect against him, hasn't taken many risks, that's what the numbers show, not been dismissed. But I think Samson will today take risks because Samson needs to score big at a high strike rate today. Kuldeep Yadav, although is in better form than what Samson is. Kuldeep Yadav is one of the bowlers of the tournament. So this could be an interesting battle. I think it, for me, it tilts in favor of the Chinaman.
Okay, we'll see that. In the death overs then, Rovman Powell versus Trent Boult. Now again, Powell's strike rate in the death overs we've already seen, 263. Boult has been struggling in the death overs in IPL 2022.
And therefore, I think this battle, I think if this matchup happens, Rovman Powell has a big upper hand, and therefore, I think Sanju Samson could use Boult, straight up 4 overs in the power play. We might see that, or bowl him in the middle overs. We might not see Boult bowling at the death overs. So that will be interesting. But if it happens, I think Powell has the measure of Trent Boult.
Yeah. But we've also seen now in the tournament, Nikhil, there have been bowlers who've started well, who've been doing well, who've sort of tapered off in their performance. Trent Boult being one, or Lockie Ferguson being one. But this is the time, though. As these matches get more and more important to win, this is the time when you want some of the experienced players in the side to put their hand up and perform well for these two teams. Okay, now we are going to look at the X-Factor players. So the X-Factor player for Rajasthan Royals has to be Jos Buttler. What will Delhi look to do to stop Jos Buttler?
The best bet, as we discussed, is Ashwin. That is the best bet. Also, Prasidh Krishna has a decent record against him. 2 wickets in 3 matches, and also not conceded much run. So that is also an interesting matchup. So 300s in as many 50s, strike rate of 140 in the power play. So this is Jos Buttler has the highest run getter of the tournament. Jos also. He's in the, he could break Virat Kohli's record. He's still in the fray. 973 runs is not very far. So this could be a very interesting, Jos Buttler remains the X factor for them, given that Shimron Hetmyer is not playing in the death over. So Jos Buttler, a big factor for the Royals.
He is a big factor. And what Rajasthan Royals will be happy about it is also the fact that they gave an opportunity to Yashasvi Jaiswal again, and he scored runs. Because that was the other thing. Karun Nair hadn't been scoring runs. You always felt that, again, they were too dependent on Jos Buttler. So it's good to see. Because they have put in their faith in Yashasvi Jaiswal by retaining him, by sort of telling him that we're here to mentor you, to guide you. So that is, paid off well now.
Absolutely. It's a good right and left-handed combination because Devdutt Padikkal wasn't doing the job, as consistently. He was not showing the form he showed a couple of seasons back for RCB. Jaiswal fired in the last match. It also sort of helps Jos Buttler if he has someone who's a little dependable at the other end, someone who will not waste deliveries. So therefore, it's a good combination. It might just get the best of Jos Buttler.
Have you ever wondered when Jos Buttler is playing as to if the pitch is the same for him and not for the others, especially as he tries to build on the innings? Because what we've seen now in this tournament, and I'm talking about all the top performers, top run getters, not everybody has been able to hit that 3rd, 4th gear, towards the latter half of your innings as you build it. But somehow Jos Buttler, and we know he's a fantastic player, but he's able to do it.
Absolutely. There's a method in his madness. He sort of has a lower strike rate in the first few overs, then he goes helter-skelter in the middle overs, and then if he strays till the death, it increases even further. 75% of his runs are in boundaries, 4s and 6s. No, I mean, it's just that he sees the ball better than any other batsman. Hand-eye coordination is brilliant. He is one of the most destructive batsmen in limited overs history. His ODI strike rate is touching 120. It's the second highest in ODI history. So, it's just that when you are in form, the pitch actually doesn't matter. The pitch doesn't matter, and he is in that zone. Let's see. I mean, he's done brilliantly till now, and it will be a shame if he sort of doesn't succeed in the remainder of the tournament, because this is what matters for RR. they need him to fire in the remaining matches, especially when the playoffs start.
Absolutely. This is important for them. This is the time, big moments, big match players stand up, and these are all now very important matches for them. And, the other thing that I'm looking forward to is this bromance that we've seen between Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal. They love to play with each other, but against each other. How will that be? And also in one of those, awards, Man of the Match awards that Kuldeep Yadav won, he said he would want Yuzvendra Chahal to get the purple cap. So are you excited about how this plays out?
Absolutely. Both of them are friends. They've done wonders for India between the period between 2017 and 2019. They were amongst the best spinners in the world. They were India's greatest match winners with the ball, both of them, more than any other fast bowler. In one-day cricket and ODI cricket, absolutely brilliant numbers, and India was amongst the top 2 teams in the world in both the formats, and the credit goes to Kulcha and therefore that Kulcha name term came up. So, I mean, they sort of thrive in each other and support each other and sort of take pride in each other's performance. So, even though they're playing for rival teams, I mean, they also know that they are back, and it's been a great story, especially for Kuldeep Yadav.
Nikhil, before this tournament began, one of the things that we were excited about that we were discussing was to see who could possibly be India's future captain. We played today is going to be the 58th match of the tournament. What we've seen is that some have done well, like Hardik Pandya, but Rishabh Pant, I would just go back to that one incident. And I'm not even taking into account that there have been various moments in different situations where you felt that he could have been better as a captain.
Correct.
But just that one particular one, of course, the no ball in the last game that they played against Rajasthan Royals. How would you rate his captaincy?
I don't think, for me, he's right at the top of the list. That incident, is not an isolated incident. Rishabh Pant, you need an aggressive captain, but you don't need a reckless captain. I think that incident showed Rishabh Pant, the reckless part of Rishabh Pant came out of his personality. Also a little immature, calling his team back, when they obviously could not win that match.
Yeah.
So, it does not show well of a future captain. You have to have a cool temperament, like MS Dhoni did, who is his mentor. For me, Hardik Pandya stood out. KL Rahul remains in the fray, although he lacks the killer instinct which a Rishabh Pant may have. But Rishabh Pant also tactically, some of the bowling changes he's made, the way he's used Akshar Patel, Akshar Patel has been struggling still. There is no clever use of the Akshar Patel. He's not getting him in the power play. He's still bowling him in the middle overs continuously. He's only using him as a restrictive option when he's not getting wickets. And we don't know what is happening with Andrik Nokia, so that mystery remains. A number of things remain with Rishabh Pant. Also his own batting, his own approach when he's got out, playing reckless shots when the need of the hour hasn't been that. So a little disappointed overall with Rishabh Pant. It seems that he's a little, rigid in his approach. And therefore, I would not put Rishabh Pant as a future captain for India. I think he should focus on his batting. He remains one of the most talented batsmen in the world.
And also because you've seen starts from him, but you haven't seen a big score from him. So not only are you leading in that way where, you've been exceptional as a captain, on top of that, it is impacting your run scoring as well. Okay, let's take a look at the points table before we wrap this up. Things are just heating up now. Gujarat Titans, first team to have qualified for the tournament. Who would have thunk it? Gujarat Titans to get through, to be the first team to qualify, and they did it so comfortably. 12 matches, they won 9 out of those 12 matches. Healthy net run rate. Then now the fight begins between LSG, RR, RCB and DC. Who will be in the number 2 position? That's the fight. And who will be the top 4? Nikhil?
I think today's match will almost decide the top 4, for me at least. If DC lose today, I think RCB more or less are through, because what that means is DC 12 matches, 10 points. Then it's a two matches, 4 points difference between DC and RCB at the same stage. If DC win, then the tournament gets, then it gets spiced up, because then if DC wins, they move to 12 points after 12 matches, and they have a better NRR than RCB. Then there's only a 1 victory difference. But if DC lose, I think the top 4 you see there will be, in all likelihood, the top 4 who make the playoffs. Of course, GT has already made the playoffs.
Are you saying that Punjab Kings are out?
More or less. Very
and
difficult.
SRH are out. Can we just show the second half of the table?
See, SRH, 4 matches they've lost in a row. Momentum is not with them. They're not out, but they have to win the remaining 3 matches.
But it's the same, Nikhil. I mean, net run rate aside, 10 points for DC,
Yes.
10 points for SRH, 10 points for
Yes.
KKR. The only difference with KKR, I'd go with, at least
extra
they
match.
played 1 extra match,
No,
but PBK is also 10 points
And
there.
PBK has a negative run rate, which also makes a difference. It's a very high negative run rate, much higher than SRH, so that makes a difference. If DC win today, then it is open. But if DC lose today, I think RCB has a, they will take the number 4 spot in all likelihood.
Okay, the breaking news then. At the moment, Jos Buttler and Yashasvi Jaiswal, they're opening the innings for RR. So crucial right now for Rajasthan Royals to have these two give them a big start. Given that Rajasthan Royals do not have Shimron Hetmyer as well, very crucial. Chetan Sakaria with the new ball.
Absolutely. It's imperative. They got to get off to a big start. And they also have to assess what's a good score. Now 180, 200, that time in the tournament is over. That phase is over. I think 150, 160 is now the new 180, 190 of the tournament. So maybe they can reassess. Maybe we'll see lowering of strike rates now. And maybe that will be smart batting. So therefore, I think Jos Buttler.
We saw that with KL Rahul yesterday.
Yes.
A lot of people would have said that's a very conservative approach. Hey, but they won. So I'll go with the team that they, that wins. And on top of that, see what they did with the opposition, getting them out for some 80-odd runs. So, yeah, the wicket is going to slow down. Time for predictions before we wrap this up. Do you want to get specific with it? Rajasthan are batting. Yashasvi Jaiswal, Jos Buttler. How much will this score?
I want to go with DC. How much will this score? 168.
Okay. Will Jos Buttler score 100?
No.
Okay.
He won't score 100. I think DC will chase it down. I want to make this contest a little spicy. I think DC will chase it down, but just barely, and the tournament is still alive. I mean, let's have a little bit of fun. Otherwise, if DC lose today, then the remaining matches are almost dead rubbers.
Yeah. I'm going to just oppose you on
Okay,
that
fair
one,
enough.
just because I feel like today, I would say Rajasthan Royals will score 160 odd.
You got a flash in
say
your head.
Did you say 170?
Why don't you become Shakuntala Devi? You could close your eyes.
I will now. When I decide who Jos Buttler, how much Jos Buttler will score. You've been practicing that. You said that last time as well. But I do like to think that maybe just by closing my eyes, I'll get a sense of what is to come. No, but I would think that Jos Buttler will score 60 and Rajasthan will score 160. 160,
Okay.
that's the total, and they'll win.
And they'll win.
They'll win.
Okay.
Quite comfortably.
All right. Okay.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. No one's going to pull us up on this one. But thank you so much, Nikhil Narayan. News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to if you want to get the latest from the world of sports. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.